It's the American dream. Got a home to raise your kids in, a place for them to come back to after they're grown and have their kids. Figure that's where I'll be for the rest of my life. It seemed like it was the thing to do. And the outcome, it turned out to be the worst idea that I could have ever done.
He was induced to take out the mortgage on the promise that his interest rate would be fixed at 6.75%. And they told him to put his initials next to it. And later, when we got the paper, it's crossed out. And the higher interest rate is written next to it. And because they told him to initial it, it looks like he initialed the higher rate.
Then March of last year, they sent me a statement saying that they wanted a balloon note for $44,000. I mean, I really thought that they were out of their minds. I'm disabled. I'm living on a fixed income.
And that's when he came to us. We then learned that the repayment plan had a $41,000 balloon payment that we weren't even able to figure out by looking at this repayment plan. That's how concealed it was. It's what banks are probably doing to many borrowers that no one will ever know.
If it wasn't for Staten Island Legal Services, I probably wouldn't even have a home. I don't even know where I would be right now. I wouldn't know what I would do with my family. I wouldn't know what to do with nothing.
So we are now fighting the foreclosure in state court, and then we've also sued Guarantee and Countrywide, the servicer, in federal court.
I know there's a lot of people in trouble out there, but I don't know if they know of Staten Island Legal Services. You know, there is people out there that could help you.
I had a family that was ill. My mother was sick. I had to take care of her. I have a son that has sickle cell. I had to take care of him. The bills and everything started accumulating. Bill collectors coming. Next thing you know, I had a freeze on my bank account. I had 2 nieces. I take care of them also. So not being able to have any money to take care of anyone, it just became very hectic.
As a young woman trying to make it on her own and with children to care for, she had a lot to lose. But after speaking to her more about the bankruptcy process, she seemed to understand that it wasn't as bad as it sounded. If there was no legal services in her life, she probably would be losing her car, getting it repossessed. Her family would be pretty much broken up. Legal services definitely helped her basically get a fresh start.
It was like a dead-end street. Until I got in touch with New York City Legal Services is when I felt better. I felt good knowing that I had someone out there that I can turn to and that would help me.
Yes, okay, she's gone out of her mind, let's take her in for evaluation. And then, of course, the child was given to my ex-husband.
She thought that there were clones of her husband that were out, that were roaming around. She thought that her home had been broken into and that it had been part of sort of an alien invasion.
Nobody ever thought that she was an unfit mother. In fact, they felt like she was a very good mother, very resourceful, able to help her daughter with homework.
The way that our organization entered into the picture was to make sure that Ms. Ortega's rights as a parent were being upheld at each stage. And we worked very closely to work with Ms. Ortega's mental health treatment team to make sure that she was progressing in her treatment, that her medication was appropriate, that it was working well, and that with each stage of her improvement and decrease in symptoms, that she was able to see more and more of her daughter. And then we were able to negotiate her daughter's return to her full-time care. Now she has her own apartment. She manages her finances very well. She has Asomar back with her full-time.
I thank God that we now have a rapport. It's a more comfortable rapport with the doctor, more comfortable rapport with my ex-husband. I come here, I can speak to Kayla and Sabrina anytime, and it's nice.
She is now incredibly stable and happy, and her daughter is cared for her fully, and I think in a way that really only Ms. Ortega could. The paintings that she brought in were depictions of what it is like to be a single mother who is surviving by having to live in the shelter system and having to get by on public assistance. And so she had one painting that depicted a woman carrying a child who had all of her belongings on her back. There was another painting that she did where she depicted mealtime at the shelter that she and her daughter had first gone to. So they were these beautiful pictures that really, I think, captured the struggle that our clients go through.